The world is undergoing rampant urbanization. In the 1950s, only about 30% of the world's population lived in cities. According to the Migration Data Portal, by 2030s, the world's cities will hold 60% of the world's population. While this has massive potential benefits in terms of the increase of land available for rural rewilding, our cities are becoming more environmentally degraded. One solution is to develop urban forests. Today, I speak to Nicolas de Brabandère, the founder of Urban Forest, an organization which is greening Europe's cities with the Miyawaki method. I hope you enjoyed this episode and learn about the Miyawaki method and the science behind. Welcome, Nicholas, to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So, what is the idea behind urban forests?
Urban Forest is a company that creates Miyawaki forests. We use a methodology from Japan that works everywhere. And the idea is to green our cities with functioning ecosystem. So we plant lots of trees densely in order to fasten the growth of the trees and create habitat for wildlife.
Why are urban forests so important for biodiversity, climate change, and the greater society?
Well, these topics are difficult to grasp. You know, they're big, they're huge. So one might ponder, what it can do at its own scale locally. And creating a Miyawaki forest is accessible to everyone, everywhere. You only need a piece of land, 100 square meters at least. Prepare the ground and plant trees and then do some maintenance for 2 to 3 years. And then the forest becomes self-sustainable. So it's really something that anyone can do. To green our city, you can, create this forest next to your home, next to the building where your company operates. I mean, it can be really anywhere.
So you mentioned about the Miyawaki forests. So can you give a brief history of this highly popular method and why is this method so popular?
The Professor Akira Miyawaki is a botanist from Japan. So he studied weed ecology when he was a student in the 60s, I believe. And then he was granted, he was invited in Germany to do some studies with Professor Reynold Tuxen, a specialist in potential natural vegetation. So the idea is to understand which plant community, the idea is to define plant communities according to wherever you are. We noticed that some plants grow together and create ecosystems. So with Professor Miyawaki and Professor Reynold Tuxen, they created a map of potential natural vegetation in Europe. And then when Miyawaki returned to Japan, the government asked him to map potential natural vegetation for Japan as well. And what was really new at the time in the 70s is that they compare actual vegetation with potential natural vegetation. And at the time, we realized that native forests have disappeared or have been transformed. So the idea is to revive this natural heritage, to revive native forests. And that's very important because this is I mean, if you're serious about, tackling biodiversity loss and climate change, we need our forests. However small they are, we need them everywhere, in pockets if possible, and much bigger, of course, if possible. So the idea is to connect with nature and see how they grow and to develop that everywhere.
So how exactly do you create a Miyawaki forest? What is the method of the plantation involved?
You start by finding a piece of land that is suitable. So it should be, there should be no underground network. It should be plain ground. It should be far enough from nearby buildings and roads and infrastructure. So once you have a piece of land that is suitable, you will study the soil. And the idea is to create very good soil before you plant the trees. So what happens in cities is most of the time the soil is very degraded, very compacted. So the idea is to lose the ground. You use an excavator, for example, to break the ground, make it fluffy, and you bring a different soil amendment like a manure, compost, woody material, wood chips, things like that will really stimulate the biology of the soil and fungi, and that will help store water in the ground. So you prepare really good soil first. And then the next step is to select native tree species. So you need to do some research to find what the forest used to be like in the location where you are. So in Europe, we're very lucky. We have access to a map that is very complete and tell you all these different species that occupy the space naturally. But in other places, such as India, it's sometimes more difficult to find this information. So you need to do some research with specialists and experts and perhaps go out in the natural forest and identify all the species that compose the forests. And then you need a nursery that provides trees. They need to be potted. And then you plant trees. So they should be very young, 1 to 3 years old, 40 to 50 centimeters tall. They should be very young, so they will develop good roots into the ground. And they will adapt to the place where they are and the neighbors. Then you cover the ground with straw. Then you care for your forest for 2 to 3 years until it becomes self-sustaining. So it's about removing the weeds that might interfere with the growth of your trees. You might need some watering if it's very dry where you are. And then your forest should be self-sustaining in 3 years. If not, maybe there's some mistake with the ground preparation, or maybe you didn't select the right tree community. And the idea also is when you plant is to gather a crowd of people to help you plant the trees. It's a very fun event. It's a way to gather in community and do something together. And it's also a great opportunity to meet people in your neighborhood and do something good.
So what are some challenges with the Miyawaki method?
Well, the main challenges are finding the right people that connect with you, people that are motivated, that understand, that it's a good thing to do and they're ready to do it. The other challenge is, of course, finding the finances, this it costs, you need to to provide for the trees, to prepare the grounds, so you need finances as well. And also you need the motivation to remain long enough until the forest becomes self-sustaining. So if you just plant the tree and turn your back and go away, your forest might not grow as it should. So you really need to care for your forest and do the maintenance and yeah. So these are really the main challenges.
So moving on to urban forests. So how do you guys operate and what impact have you guys had so far?
So urban forest, we started in 2016. At first, the first Miyawaki forest I did was really for fun. I wasn't interested in the methodology, and I wanted to experiment and to learn more about it. So I planted the first Miyawaki forests, and to my big surprise, many people show up to help me plant the trees. It was really a success. And the media also show up. And out of the blue, really, my phone started ringing with people asking me to help them create more Miyawaki forests. That's how it started. And now, 7, 8 years later, we did more than 100 Miyawaki forests in Belgium, in France, one in Germany. It's attracting a lot of media coverage, which is a good thing because it helps us find the people that are interested in doing this. And we improved the methodology over time. At first, I didn't understand the soil all that much. I was just preparing the ground a bit randomly. And with time, I improved it. I got to learn more about the soil and how the soil works, all the importance of all the microorganisms and maintaining good moisture and all of that. And I also improve tree species selection, making the community better and better. And it's challenging because the tree community is different at every location. And now we're a team of 5 people. We make a living. We work with private landowner, with companies, industries, real estate. We work in schools as well. We also work with a collective of people that want to do something good in their neighborhoods. We train people also in the Miyawaki methods. So it's looking back, it's I'm quite surprised how far the Miyawaki method took me.
How can individuals contribute to your organization?
All right. So really, you can contribute by showing up at the planting event, by helping us planting the trees and maybe also, to participate in the maintenance. So, of course, we located here in Europe. But if you are in Belgium or in France, you can check urban forests on Facebook or the internet site and see what it's like. We also have a program. It's called Kids in the Woods. So the idea is for companies to contribute financially to create Miyawaki forests in schools. So it's quite easy to do, and we do a reporting every 6 months. We tell you which school and how the forest is doing and the impact it has on the children in the schools. And of course, you can help us by, if you're a journalist or just like you are doing podcasts, talking about this and making the Miyawaki method known and understand. So, yeah.
That was the final question I had for you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.